Welcome to the CQC video training series. This is a spot topic video on media browsing. In this video, we're going to take a very simple look at media browsing within CQC. CQC has a very well-defined media architecture, and that includes what we call media repositories, which are sources of media metadata that you can browse through. And then there are media renderers, which are players of media. And as long as you have well-defined definitions for those things, it makes it a lot easier to put together a media system within CQC, and that's what we're going to do here. Just the basics for now. We're just going to look at browsing. So the two components of browsing basically consists of selecting categories that you want to browse and then browsing through the content of that category. And there are user interface widgets that are designed to support both those things. So what I'm going to do first is just create a media browser. And all of the media stuff is under media. So it'll be a cover art browser. And I'm just going to size it up here, give it most of the space. And we can just set it to the same background color as the rest of the template. We don't really need it to stand out particularly. So let's set the background color here. And I'll just use the little mouse here to drag it over. Now let's make it be the same. Okay, so now we can basically just set this guy up for a particular media repository. And those are settings down here. So we only have one media repository driver installed right now. So that's the only one we have available. And we can use a layout template. We'll get into that later, but we'll use a default one that comes shipped with CQC for now. And let's go ahead and set this one. Let's just say it's for, yeah, we'll stick with music. That's fine. And for initial sort order by title is fine. So now if we were to basically run that, what would happen is it would just come up with the content of the all music category, which is the basic category that includes all music titles. And we can go ahead and do that if we want. So let's save this and go over to the viewer. And this is some stuff from another video here. And you can see that it has the titles. They don't look all that great here. It's just using a very simple default layout, and I can scroll through them. And if we were to select one, say a double album here, that would take us to the two albums and so forth. And we can swipe back up to get back up to the titles again. So that's it. This one doesn't look very great. We will really want to customize the layout in order to get it to look exactly the way we would like it to. But this just to demonstrate what's going on here. We could make it a little bit taller so that we can get 3 lines on here. So that would fit it a little better, so we can do that. But we can also, let me size it up a little bit here. Hopefully that's enough. But now we also want to be able to browse through various categories as well. Typically you would. I mean, you could always just browse through all music or all movies, but sometimes those can be fairly long lists. So that means we're going to have to be able to send commands to this widget. So we need to give it an ID. So let's call this one browser or cover art. And now let's go up to the top here and let's add a media category browser. And this is going to be way off your screen here, but I'm doing new media, and this would be a media category browser. And this one currently is set to vertical. We would like it to be horizontal. And let's size it down considerably. And also it initially sized the slots based on a vertical size. So let's size the slots up and let's say make them like 48, something like that. Oops, actually that's not big enough. Let's make it more like 96. Okay. And you can get it so that it exactly fits the size as well. So I mean, we could size this down, but it won't matter that much. So let's just go with that. And now we can set the initial type to music. So it's going to show us the categories from the repository driver that we select. And again, we'll select the same one. That's important. And now we have basically a way to send commands here, but we need to set up the actions to do that. So let's go to here. Let's go to actions. And we want to, when they select something, so this is on select, we want to send the cover art browser a set category. and it automatically picks the appropriate value to send. This is one of the many runtime values that you'll get from media widgets when you click on something. And in this case, we want to send it the selected category. So for a very simple setup, this should actually work here. So let's save that. Let's go back over to the viewer. As always, when testing, disable template caching. Let's open that again, or reload that. And now we have a browser up here that we can scroll through. Again, this is all just default appearance. None of this really looks very good. So if we were to select hip hop, and that gets us hip hop, new age, folk, and so forth. And of course, we can go back if we want to just by scrolling up or flicking up, and it takes us back through the list. So that, in a very simple sort of way, is how you would set up a media browser. You can customize this content that is shown for each one by using your own layout, which we'll get into in a subsequent video. And basically this gets you all you need. And then ultimately, of course, we would provide a handler so that when we click on one of these guys, that we can probably preview it and then start it playing. And we'll get into that also in subsequent videos. But just for a start, this is how you would set up a very simple media browser.